Back with Crawlspace Encounters. Got ourselves another one here. Alright, so this house is a for sale as is, but the potential buyer wants to go ahead and have an inspection done regardless. Genius. Alright, let's dive into this one and see what's going on. Alright, well, let's get right into this one. Alright, what do we got here? Got some crickets. Usually crickets are a sign of moisture. If you're new to the channel, I do home inspections. And I like to get up in crawl spaces and see what's happening. The majority of the houses I deal with are crawl space homes. I am in the foothills of South Carolina, and this is kind of what we deal with. If you're new, hit the like, subscribe. I appreciate that. Helps the channel out. And while I try to figure these things out down here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe so far. Alright, and my routine is just flash my light around just to make sure no wild animal got in here. Alright, so house has definitely been treated for termites. You can see the drill holes. Usually when they treat a house here, they have to drill the piers, trench the inside, foundation wall. But that's if you are chemically treating the house. So here I am in the back of the house. That is actually the deck. We're underneath the deck right here, but in the crawl space. So what happens with that case is usually when there's a deck, and most houses that have a crawl space have a deck, the airflow that you get from underneath that deck into the crawl space is very minimal. You don't get a lot of good airflow. And if you do, it's usually damp air. So that's what usually leads to a lot of fungus and moisture issues. But an excuse of spider webs. I'll try to get them. I'll get them off as much as I can. But you can see that they haven't had a vapor barrier. This is probably the builder vapor barrier. This house is selling for $345,000. Nice neighborhood, about 25-year-old house. Very nice inside. It's crawl space. So far, nothing crazy. A lot of spider webs. This is definitely the original vapor barrier the builder put in. So they, just by the looks of it, considering I've been in crawl spaces quite a bit, doesn't look like they've invested much money down here into aiding in anything. For example, pest control would be one. Two, you can see all the burrowing holes, all those little holes you see in the insulation. That is from mice. Chipmunks do the same. These inspections that I do are basically pretty quick. And then just to show you guys, obviously I can't make an hour-long video. Kind of give you a shakedown of what I typically see in a crawl space home. If you're ever interested in buying one, or you own one, it's important for you to see what's happening down here. It smells actually good down here. It smells like a dryer vent. You see that right there? These are all watermarks. So when it rains, water comes in, gets into the foundation. The ground outside is about this high. Right here, this is where the lawn is outside. So you have all that space. You got about a good foot and a half of soil beating up against the that single layer brick that's not really designed to hold back any kind of water intrusion. It does feel pretty humid down here, and you definitely see a lot of fungus spores. A lot of fungus spores. So no question about it, you see a lot of this insulation, how it starts to fall down. A lot of it's just critter activity, snakes, mainly mice. Though I have been seeing snakes, and it's already first week of September. Oh God, where the heck did August go? You see all that? That's all urine from mice. That's disgusting. So they've been definitely dancing around down here, having a good old time. This is what I don't like. Right here, you've got your HVAC system. Let me get these spider webs out of the way. Holy smokes. And then you can tell that nobody's been down here just by the accumulation of spider webs. Alright, I need to get to this unit. Alright, so this is your unit. There is no vapor barrier up underneath this. Not a fan of that. The reason for that is because it starts to cause condensation. It starts to drip water. You can see the humidity from the ground itself starts rusting out the bottom sides of the AC system. This is a gas unit. This is probably not the original, I can tell you that right now. How do I know that? Because it's not beat up. After, I'm telling you, man, these crawl spaces that don't have good moisture protection on the ground, these units, at least parts of the units, already have to be replaced. Yeah, that was probably replaced at one time. You can see how the connection right here, just from the moisture itself. These are rodent streaks. They pee. And this right here is air going into your home. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you're probably breathing in some funk. It definitely feels pretty humid down here. I would advise definitely a different kind of a barrier system. I mean, you've got to, I mean, it's covered, not completely, but you want to cover every bit of the clay. I remember years ago they used to talk about just covering 80% of the clay and leaving 20%, so that the crawlspace can breathe. I never understood that. And now it's, you got to cover it 100%. So they're constantly changing codes, which is understandable. We are still learning this whole thing about building. But definitely water comes in. You see how it dried up right there. Now I'm heading to the front of the house. Look at these spider webs. Wow. These spiders and these mice have had a good life down here. And crickets, I can leave you out, bud. Crickets are always a sign of high moisture. Always a sign of high moisture. But the biggest sign of them all is, well, you just come down here and you feel the humidity. And you also see the fungus. That wood fungi is considered a wood destroying fungi. You have a lot of outfits going around throwing the word mold around. You know, when you do read the textbook, they do say surface molds and mildews, but when you say the word mold, people think, I'm gonna die. Black mold, oh my god, sure, where do I sign? No, this is a wood fungus. Those are spores that are attached to the wood itself. Those spores need moisture, so the water molecules down here is high enough for those spores to continue to thrive. Eventually, you will have wood rot if this goes untreated. But yeah, these crickets, man, they're digging this. They like this. They're also nicknamed the cave cricket. They're blind. They have antennas that kind of help them navigate through places, especially caves where it's nice and dark. But these are super cool. I've been in crawl spaces where they've actually huddled up. I swear, this is not exaggerating. Like 100 of them. And then you don't see them and you crawl right by them. And they all start to hop around at the same time. Landing on your head and you're just freaking out, man. So this is the main drain line going down into the ground. Now this is the front porch. So you can tell this is the front of the house right here. This is all the front of the house. All right here. The problem we have here with this, let me get the spider web off the lens real quick. Problem we have here is lack of cross ventilation. This is the front porch right here. See that? So the airflow coming in through those vents on that front porch isn't gonna make it in here. What the heck is that pier doing? Well, I can't see. I can see through my camera. That thing is just leaning. Lean on me. Because I'm not doing anything here. Now, these are just support systems for the concrete slab poured on the front porch. But I would definitely have a better support system so that puppy doesn't crack. But if we're lucky, we might find a snake, because this is where the snakes like to live. Right in here. No, nada. Yeah, so they got this. And all they did was bust a hole right here. We're not getting any airflow. We're gonna take a cruise over to the other side of the air conditioning system. I want to see what that looks like. Oh man, my head just went right through a giant spider web. I'm gonna look like George Washington by the time I get out of here. Alright, hold on, I'm gonna get this off my head. I don't know what that is. So check this out. This is exactly what I was talking to you about. Look at that rust. My God. What you do is you get a vapor barrier and you tuck it all up underneath this whole system, all of it. Even this is a 6 mil poly. Here's a condensation pump. I don't know why they threw a block on it, but they did. But this is just nasty. Look at that. Look at how it's all rusted out. I'll tell you what, these HVAC people, sometimes they don't, they don't sell. They don't say anything. That was all freshly taped not too long ago. Got a spider web on the camera. Hold on, there we go. If I was an HVAC company, there's no question about it. I'd be selling moisture work. least vapor barriers, throw a dehumidifier, and then you can even have them hire their own electrician to hook it up. This is a HVAC duct line right here. And you can see, look at that. That's all from mice, chipmunks. That's just nasty. You know, the size of this cricket. This guy's big. That's a big cricket. They're all over the place. They love it down here, nice and humid. See all this ground cover? Yeah, well, you don't, because there's no ground cover. This is no bueno. Like I said, this is the reason why there's fungus down here. And with the pests, you definitely want to make sure you seal up all those holes. You can see how they've chewed through the styrofoam. Definitely, there's another vent coming in from the other side of the porch. Not enough, just not enough airflow down here. So if I was grading this crawl space, let's just say it was a football card. Gem Mint Bean number 10. I'm gonna have to say I'd have to give it a 6.5, 6.5. Number one, all this insulation has to be fixed. The pest control has to be performed here. You can see all this. What a mess. I definitely have an HVAC company come out here and check that out. If it was my crawl space, I would get rid of this plastic, put down a new plastic. Getting rid of it means also cleansiness. It's a dead, ancient, mummified mouse. Clean it up. I'm a huge fan of sealing up crawl spaces and putting in encapsulations, dehumidification systems, because with the weather here, just with the plain vapor barrier, this isn't going to go away. Now that you've already established a fungus problem, that all it needs now is humidity. About 65 to 70% relative humidity. There's enough water molecules in the air to continue to let that reproduce. Just so many things about Crawlspace. This is why I've been doing these videos for such a long time. And speaking of that, hit that like and subscribe. I started making these videos because, man, people used to argue with me all the time. I'd much rather a slab than a crawl space. I get what they're trying to say, but then I'm like, man, you have no idea what I see in crawl spaces. And this is nothing. If you look through my videos and you scroll through, man, the stuff I see in crawl spaces will blow your mind. You'd be like, I'll never buy a crawl space house ever. This isn't to scare people. I'm not a builder. I'm not a contractor. This is just, I'm just trying to show people what's going on. I don't like plumbing pipe going through the main beam going across. Never been a fan of that. Making any holes through any kind of support system. Problem with this is also, check this out. This is a good pointer right here. Most of these houses are hardwood floors. So you can see this insulation right here. It's just leaning on this. And these pieces of insulation, they're heavy. The problem also is you can see the nails from the hardwood floors. Those get rusted. They all get rusted out. Before you know it, you got a lot of squeaks. You got a lot going on. Hardwood start buckling. And having hardwood floors in a crawl space that's real humid like this, not good. Most hardwood floor companies, if you have a moisture problem in the crawl space, they won't guarantee their hardwood floors. I've had a few homeowners call me to inspect to make sure that what they were saying was true before they went investing a bunch of money into fixing the crawl spaces. For the most part, they're right. The floor starts buckling because of too much moisture in the crawl space. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna try to go after the flooring company, and they're gonna be like, "No, well, too much moisture." Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I truly appreciate it. Crawlspace Encounters. We're here to show you what's up. God bless. Have a great day.